Y'all, what's up? What's up? I'm super excited because we got a new show to add to the roster. We have Love and Listings. Now, we had a first season last year, and I didn't review it because at that time I wasn't doing reviews on YouTube, but now that I am, I'm super excited to get into this new show because last season was actually really good. There was a lot of drama. If you haven't seen this show, basically it's about black realtors in LA and the drama basically that they experience kind of being in this small circle that's in the Hollywood arena. Everybody's trying to sell these high-end real estate buildings and make a lot of money from it, but when you get involved with people. And speaking of getting involved, we have a girl by the name of Anjoni who got, a little frisky with a man by the name of Andrew who had a fiance. Now, he tried to keep it under wraps, but Anjoni blew his spot all the way up, like August Alsina style, like blew it up. He tried to, cover up and say he did nothing, but at the end of the season, at the club, everybody saw him for his works. Like, he was straight up lying. So it's going to be interesting to see how this season takes off after that and where everybody, kind of falls in their friendship and their relationship with Andrew and Anjoni after this whole thing kind of blew up the whole friend circle. So nonetheless, we're going to be adding Love and Listings to the roster. I don't know about Black Ink Crew Chicago, you guys, yet. Because it's basically based off the quarantine, I mean, how much could they really be showing on the show? But from the first episode, it did look like there was a little bit of drama, but it might just be a show that I review on a episode basis. Like, if the episode is good enough, I'll review it. But for the most part, I think Love and Listings is going to be my one that I do on a consistent basis, okay? But nonetheless, you guys, let's get into the episode. So we open up with Taylor, her little badass self. She's like that kid that just can't help but throw a temper tantrum when she doesn't get her way. Last season was super bad for her, and she tried to basically blame it on mommy issues because her mom was in her life. Now, she's the youngest of them all. She had a real estate license at 19, so she feels like she's really badass. And she wants to come into this arena and basically prove everybody wrong, that she's not just young, dumb, and doesn't know anything about the business. So she's decided to go around, go about the leasing route, leasing expensive homes, and hopefully that will transition into her selling, more expensive homes, which is kind of a smart way to go because leasers typically do turn into buyers. Is my camera focused? Okay, that's better. Okay, focus. Okay. Sorry, I was like getting blurry. Okay. So yeah, Taylor is at this house that she was leasing, and Anjoni shows up. Now, last year, Anjoni and Taylor didn't even really get along. They fought a lot, partly because Taylor has issues not knowing when to keep her mouth shut. She feels like everything, has to involve a fight. Like, everything needs confrontation, and that's just what comes with being young. You feel like everybody has to know your stance on everything, but as you get older, you realize there's power in silence, and just keep giving somebody to look like, bitch, I peeped that, but I'm gonna keep that, in the back of my head. And just know I got the receipts in my little, my file cabinets, okay? Taylor's not there yet. But at least her and Anjoni, were able to make up, and they're friends now. And Anjoni is, trying to do the real estate thing, but she's kind of struggling. She hasn't been able to, close on a home yet. And she thinks, partially that is one, because she's new into the game, and two, she's just hoping that, her getting involved with Andrew didn't really ruin her reputation, because he called her a liar. He said that she straight up, nothing ever happened between them. She's just trying to, cause mess. And she's like, I don't want to have this stigma of being a liar while being in this industry. People don't they don't want to mess with people who are considered liars. So her and Taylor, I think, are going out to lunch or something like that, and Taylor's just trying to get her to, she says, you need to confront Andrew publicly. Now, last year, Anjoni kind of did do that at the club. She confronted him more in the basis of the group, like the whole kind of realtor group was there at the club, and she put him on blast because if you didn't see it, basically, he was like, oh, you don't even have my number. She was like, yeah, I do. And so I think it was Zach that was like, well, let her call your phone. And he's like, oh, I don't have my phone. And he was like, fool, I just saw you use it 4 minutes ago. Yeah, you do have your phone. And so, like, he got caught in lying straight up like that. So Anjoni's kind of ready to get over it. She wants to start her life, but Taylor is insisting on her blowing up Andrew's spot, which is another immature thing to do. But moving on, we see Jacob, Suge Knight's son. He is finally, he passes realtor's test finally. But come to find out, he has a baby on the way. Okay, he got this little Mexican girl pregnant. They were just messing around for the first couple of months, and she got pregnant. And the minute he said that, I knew this was a situation where you can't be fucking these bitches raw. That's what you can't do. You cannot sit there and have sex with women that if they get pregnant, you don't want to be with them. Like, especially raw. Quit raw dogging these hoes and shooting their club up. But this girl, they're dating now, and he, has to prove himself to be a good, dad, a good realtor, now that he has a family to take care of. And they are going to the baby shower, super cute. His aunt is there, asking him about what he's, is he prepared? And she's like, I want you to do good. He's like, yeah, I don't want to be like my dad, because Suge Knight has 7 baby mamas. So he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to break the generational curse. But in the confessional, the producers asked him, like, oh, is her name Angelique or something like that? Angelica, something like that. But they asked, is she the one? Like, if she wasn't pregnant, would you be with her? And he was like, oh, probably not. And it was like, dang, I might not have said that shit on camera, because she looked crazy. She looks like one of those girls who, the minute you see her, she sees her man with somebody that might be slightly, more attractive or slightly more down his lane, she's gonna start, acting a plumb fool. So he is struggling with, trying to be this family man and not really being in love with this girl, but she's pregnant, she's having his baby. Like, what's that Casey song? So you having my baby. That's what it is right now. She pregnant. Did she do it on purpose because it's Suge Knight's son? That could be a thing. Like, she was only messing with you for 2 months. Like, y'all can't really be in love like that. But they have the baby shower, and then we see Zach, Samantha, and Eric all at this like fancy schmancy country club, golfing and stuff. Samantha is now in the development, type of realtors, which is really where the money's at, messing with developers. I'll be watching million dollar listings, that's kind of the developers and stuff like that, that's where the money low-key be at too. But her and Zach have this long history. So they were on the golf course, they try to do it just to like unwind and kind of get their mind out of, the business of real estate, every now and then. But they're flirting, they're driving around in the little go-kart and, flirting with each other, taking pictures. And Zach now is single. I guess he's no longer with Kat. The Kat was supposed to be the love of his life and stuff like that, but I guess that went out the window. And now Samantha's single too. And he's like, oh, I'm seeing all my friends, have babies and, have this family life, and I really want it. Now I'm starting to look at Samantha a little bit differently. And it's just like, this is coincidence to me. I really don't feel like Zach all of a sudden wants to be like, oh, I'm realizing she's the one. Like, no, it's just because you're at a point in your life where you realize, damn, am I gonna find somebody else? Like, Samantha just happens to be here. And Samantha, low-key, has been waiting for this because she wanted to get with him last season, but he was with Kat. And she took all, the wrong hints. Like, they were flirting and stuff, and she took it as, she wanted to move on and, kind of make this a thing. But he's like, I'm in a relationship. So she just kind of got, mushed into her face with that idea. And then they started beefing and like fighting, and he tried to tell her, man, I couldn't even be with you because you couldn't even get my thing hard. And it was like, first of all, don't put that on the girl. She couldn't get your thing hard, buddy. That's you. You couldn't get your shit up. Don't be trying to put that off on her. Pop the little blue pill next time. But she said that, they ended up talking it out. They're cool now. And now he's sending her little text messages talking about, ooh, I really want to kiss you. You just looked right that day. I'm starting to see things with us a little bit differently. And Sam is using that to her advantage because she ends up having like this little house that she wants to do for an open house. And Eric comes over, and that little white girl from last season, she has some little miniature dog now, ugly ass pug called Beverly, and she's telling the girl about how her and Zach have been flirting, and she might be considering getting back with him because they did date in the past, but it was just wrong timing. But she's, you know, bringing up the voice message, and that I don't really like how Samantha's doing that. It's like, girl, if that's gonna be y'all thing, then that be your thing. Like, keep that my little secret. Like, keep it on the low key. You know, but I think she's just trying to put it out there. That way, Zach can't deny it. Because last year, he basically denied doing all this flirting and, trying to be involved with her. He tried to straight up deny it. So I think she's trying to basically, you know, put it out there so he doesn't have the opportunity to sit there and say, oh, no, that's not what I was doing. Like, girl, you taking it all wrong. Because niggas love to do that, too. They love to feed a girl's mind. And then when she starts trying to take it somewhere, it's like, oh, where'd you get that idea from? Nigga, I got that idea from because you was late night in my bed talking about, oh, girl, I see a future with you. Like, that's why. So they end up doing, like, the open house and stuff like that. Anjoni is real, like, scared about doing it. Jacob, he's getting ready to go. He ends up calling his dad, you know, Suge Knight. He's in jail. And, you know, he gets a call once a day from him. And he's talking to him, trying to get advice, you know, how to be a dad. He's like, you know, just be there for her. You know, that's your daughter. You know, he's really happy, kind of, that he has his baby because now it's more motivation. And it's more motivation for Suge to keep pushing while he's in jail. And Suge is like, well, are you with the girl? He's like, man, we working on things. And he's like, but do you love her though? And he was like, he paused real hard, like pause. And then he's like, man, you don't need to worry about that. And it's like, you cannot make it more obvious that you basically got caught up with this chick. If you was gonna have sex with her raw, like, could you not 21 Savage it and tell her to pop a plan B? Like, you niggas really be out here having sex with these girls and raw dogging it and be expecting nothing to happen. Like, sex education is out the window these days. So he's basically in a situation forcing it, and that's gonna make it worse because now you're gonna give this girl the idea that there could really be this family with y'all and like you really love her and want to be with her, and that's not the case. Like, you need to split this before the baby comes out, where y'all can already get in the routine of co-parenting. Don't start leading her on, because that's just going to get her more in her feelings, and that's going to make the shit worse. So, you know, the night of the opening, Zach ends up showing a house to Vivica Fox. Vivica Fox had her little cameo. She got shown the first house. She hated it. The closet was too small, was giving him a hard time. So he takes her to the next house, and it's Russell Westbrook's house. So she's like, ooh, this one got a whole bunch of skeletons in this house. But the house was very nice. The view was beautiful, the closet space. So she's like, I have my people hit up your people. And Zach is hoping that he can get her as a client, because then, you know, word of mouth, it'll go around. So nonetheless, we finally get to the end of the night, and it's the open house. Everybody's showing up. Taylor ends up going with Jacob, and she asks, like, oh, does your girlfriend know that I'm coming? And he told her, yeah. He's like, oh, it's not that she doesn't like you. He straight up lied. There's no way he told his girl that he went with Taylor. There is no way. Because he said that she is the jealous type. And especially the fact that Taylor and Jacob kind of have a history of, you know, kind of like, you know, flirting with the line of, you know, whether to cross it or not. I definitely don't think she would like them both being together. But she started asking him, like, oh, you know, so they're going to put a ring on it. He's like, man, I'm just 23. I'm not trying to marry nobody. Like, let me just get through having the baby first. And she's like, well, was the baby at least plans? Like, you know, what's going on? He's like, no, you know, I mean, I guess it was planned. We were having sex. And she was like, man, that pullout game weak. Like, the pullout game was hella weak. Either that or that, you know, that what they call it, the pre-cum or something like that. You can get pregnant off that shit too. But they make it to the place, and it's beautiful. So if I had the type of money, like, to buy the house, I would hella buy it. Everybody loves the house. Everybody's, you know, in awe. So they all go in. Anjoni ends up coming a little bit later, but Jacob, Zach, and Eric, they're all there, and Andrew comes in. Andrew all of a sudden comes in with this whole entourage of these black female groupies that he, I guess, are the new realtors that he's, you know, trying to call his, you know, proteges and whatnot. He ends up talking to, Andrew ends up stopping by Jacob, talking about, oh, I heard about the baby, you know, congratulations. He spills the tea that him and his wife now are trying for a baby. Now, I feel some type of way about the girl's fiance marrying him. Like, I'm guessing timing-wise, of course, when they were filming, they were already planning the wedding. So the wedding happens, I guess, in the midst of the same time of the show, you know, being post-edited or something like that. So I'm sure he probably waited till after they were married to spill the beans. Like, Andrew looked like that type of nigga, like, I'm gonna lock her down first, then I'll spill the shit, you know? But he said they're working on the baby. I just couldn't do it, especially if you did it to me on national TV. I could not do it. So then he's like, oh, cheers to the babies. So Anjoni's there with Taylor, they're talking, and then they see Andrew over there with all the females. You know, all the guys, Eric and Zach, are like, oh my God, you got all women? Like, why did you? He said, oh, it just happened that way. And it just looks real grimy. It just looks like real, like, Donald Trump-ish. Like, Andrew just gives off this vibe of, you know, I was the lame kid growing up. Now I got money and swag, and I'ma just use it to my basically my capabilities of grooming these women and using my suave debonair to kind of get them to do what I want to do type situation. And Anjoni's looking at it from the sideline like, oh my God, he's probably doing the same thing to them that he did to me, you know, trying to show off this debonair act and all this type of stuff. And he just might lure them in, but he obviously got to learn his lesson from what he did with you, Anjoni, because I don't think he could get away with a second time. I'm sure his wife let him get away with this first slip up, but especially on national TV, if you do number 2, Andrew, you liable to get all your tires slashed and that house set on fire that y'all lived in. So Samantha, Zach is talking to the white girl because she's like, I'll ask him if you go on a date. And it was like, dang, girl, she sees Zach and immediately the first thing, so are you going to take Samantha on a date? And he was like, what did she tell y'all? She's like, well, she played the messages for us. And he's like, dang, I know at this point, Samantha, whatever I know I put out there is going to be used against me in court, because Samantha's just putting it out there too much. And it's like, I don't like that. Like, can you keep our shit a secret? So then Samantha ends up pulling him upstairs. You know, they end up talking about how, you know, the future, and Zach is like, yeah, you know, I'm feeling you. And she's like, why now? All of a sudden, why now? That would be my question too. Is it just because of convenience? Because I don't want to just be your fallback, your rebound because of convenience. He's like, no, you know, I really feel like you're the one. It just was timing. So she's going to play, you know, this kind of cat and mouse game with him the whole season. I'm sure that's going to be their storyline. So then Anjoni, Taylor, and Andrew end up having this awkward moment because he's talking about, oh, my wife this, and Taylor's like, oh, how are you doing? And she is trying to lure Anjoni into confronting him about it. But Anjoni's like, no, like, I'm over it. I want to move on. Like, what's the point of saying something? He's married. What? She already married him. For what? What am I going to tell him for it? She knows and still married him. And I would do the same thing. I'm not going to warn no bitch over something that she already knows and is choosing to make her choice to still be with the man. What's the point? But Taylor loves confrontation. That's the problem. So Anjoni goes upstairs. Taylor follows her and was like, oh my God, you're being weak. You're going to let him get away with this. You know, I'm on your side. I'm on your team. That's why I left him. And Anjoni's like, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to keep, you know, jeopardizing my life, my livelihood to, you know, do something that's not even, you know, going to get me anywhere. So now Anjoni and Taylor are in the bathroom fighting, causing a mess. Everybody's downstairs hearing them. And this seems to be Taylor's MO. Pick a fight, be loud, because she feels that that's what makes her look like, oh, nobody's gonna fuck with me if I call them out, and you know, if I'm louder than them, like, they're not gonna get away with it. And it's like, Taylor, you're too young right now to understand what you're doing. You're your own worst enemy. Taylor is going to be her own worst enemy in this business, because nobody wants to be with somebody who you're fighting in an open house when you should be networking. Nobody's gonna want to network with your ass. You are a child. So Anjoni's like, girl, you're dead to me right now. I'm not doing this with you. Like, I'm going downstairs. And then that's where the episode ends. So this season looks like it's gonna be really good, you guys. We're gonna hear to be reviewing it. Like I said, I don't know about Black Ink Crew Chicago yet, but Loving Listings is definitely on the roster. It's looking like we have Love After Lockup coming on, and Saturday will be Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I'm super ready for that. So you guys, appreciate you for tuning in. Tell me what you thought about this first episode of Loving Listings and how you think the season will go. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel before you go, and I'll catch you later. Deuces.